quartet that other sweet Adelines rave over and love to hear, the 1986 International Queens of Harmony, Ambiance.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you back into the 30s and introduce you to Thomas Fats Waller. In his short 39 years, he wrote over 400 fantastic jump and jive tunes about living and loving and leaving them. And honey, we're only going to sing 250 of them for you tonight. So sit back and relax while we do Ain't Misbehaving. And I ain't either. Do you buy that stuff? Well, do we really have people way up there in the balcony? Clap for me. Are you way up there? Boy, you guys give whole new meaning to the term ceiling fans. Oh, well, it doesn't get any better, so if you got anything to do, head for it. Been really neat to come to Fort Myers, Florida. we had a little trouble getting here. As a matter of fact, when we left St. Louis one day last week, Thursday, you know, the mind starts to go. In my case, the body went first, but the mind is right behind it. But anyway, when we left Thursday night, we had our little itinerary that the travel agent had put together for us, so we knew that we were flying out of, noise over here. We were flying out of, where were we? St. Louis, flying out of St. Louis at 8 o'clock, and that we were going to be landing in Fort Myers at 10:15. So we know there's just a little hour difference there, you know, to play with. So lo and behold, we did take off at 8 o'clock, and lo and behold, the plane landed at 9:15. And we proceeded to get off of the plane in Sarasota. She didn't mention there was a little stopover. And we made a big deal about getting off the plane and having a good time in Fort Myers. And the 6 people that were left on the plane that were going on to Fort Myers laughed their fannies off. And as we were getting back on the plane, they continued to laugh their fannies off. But that's okay. When we got in Fort Myers, there was a fantastic 50-voice chorus waiting for us with banners, and we were really somebody. And so we kind of turned around and said, "See? Nobody came to see you. Are you sure you're in the right town?" We care. We're going to have some fun with you. We're going to tell you some stories. We've done an awful lot of traveling. We've been in Toronto, Canada, and we've been to California, to Mickey's house, Disneyland there, and we've been, let's see, where else? We've been to Hawaii. There's some interesting things that happen in Hawaii. And we're going to be going to Sweden in March, so any of you want to go along and have a good time for a couple of weeks, just see us. We know how to get there, okay? So, you know, I bet we could probably just have a real good time here tonight. We're going to say, "It's a sin to tell a lie." Sing that for you. It's a sin to tell a lie, and of course, bless, it works for you. So. Just think about it. You know it's a sin to tell a lie. Still you keep saying, "I love you, I do." It may be true, I wish I knew, but I'm giving fair warning to you, rascal you. Be sure it's true when you say, "I love you." It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. I love you, yes I do, I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Some say that I'm a fool to love you. They say your heart is lying, and I'm so afraid you'll go away, leaving my sad eyes crying. I love you, yes I do, I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell you tell so well. It's a dirty, rotten, shameless, awful sin to tell a lie. Don't make me cry, 'cause if you break my heart, I'll die. For those of you who have traveled to Hawaii, I know there are many, many wonderful things to do there, such as parasailing, body surfing, snorkeling, all those fun things. And of course, lo and behold, the quartet had to try each and every one of those. One of my favorites is body surfing. You know, it's just the biggest thrill that I ever had. We decided we were going to go down to the beach, Diane and I, and we were going to do this body surfing thing, no big deal. We got this native person to take us to the beach and show us how. And we had a little sideline trip there because I had to buy him a bathing suit. My old one had a hole in the knee. You guys don't have those? Anyway, so we got the new bathing suit, skimpy as it was, and went on about our business of doing this body surfing thing. Now the guy says, "This is real easy." He said, "Girls," he said, "all you have to do is just step out into the water, you see, and you just keep on walking. When you run out of sand on your feet, and you just keep bobbing, bob up, bob down, bob up and down. And you go all the way out there, and you just kind of stand out there on the coral reef, and you wait for this little wave to come along, and it just kind of picks you gently up, and it just pilots you right on into shore. All you have to do is stick your hands out in front of you and just plane out like a surfboard. Carries you right into shore, no problem, and it deposits you gently on the sand. No big deal. Well, I'm not as dumb as I look, so I told him, "This is a hateful man over here." So anyway, so I said to him, "Okay, you do it for us." Well, out of the 15 times we made him do it, it worked every time. So we said, "This is safe." So he said, "Okay," he said, "you go first, honey." So you kind of get out to the edge of the water and you step out into it. Pretty soon you run out and land, and you kind of bob, and then you come up, bob and up, and you go out there and you stand. I stand out there on the coral reef waiting for my little old 10-foot wave to come in, you know? And this 500-foot wave comes from China, you know? Sucker picks me up, turns me over about 16 times, and I finally decide which end's up, and I get everything squared out here and get my hands in front of me, and I raked 50 miles of sand into the heart of Hawaii. I have sand in places I can't talk to you people about. It was a year ago, and it still hurts. Now's the time. We're having a little pitch practice. This joint is jumping? You have to go to the bathroom or anything, maybe? Feed the kids. There's Candy and Pop out there. And she didn't hear the cue. She didn't know what was going on. Nothing's new. By the way, I wanted to introduce you to, I had my family in the audience tonight, as a matter of fact. I got to come and see my grandson for the first time, and my beautiful granddaughter Nancy, and my daughter Pam, and her wonderful husband Eric are in the audience tonight, so I know they would be embarrassed if they have to stand up, so you just clap and be nice for them, okay? Yes. And we have some fantastic friends in the audience, also Alan Tyler and his friends from St. Louis. They're all here with us tonight, too, so it's kind of like family night. This joint is jumping, you know. Boy, you're alive tonight. They have a new expression along Old Harlem Way that tells you when a party is 10 times more than gay. To say that things are jumping, leave not a single doubt that everything is in full swing when you hear somebody shout. This joint is jumping, it's really jumping. Come in, cats, and check your hats. I mean, this joint is jumping. The piano's thumping, the dancer's bumping. This here spot is more than odd. In fact, the joint is jumping. Just check weapons at the door. Be sure to pay your quarter. And together on the floor, grab anybody's daughter. The room is rocking, the neighbors knocking. We're all bums when the wagon comes. I mean, this joint is jumping. Yes, sir, honey, we could get on out and dance if there was a band, and we could probably take this auditorium apart. What do you think? Let's get on and out. Woman, was that a soda pop like I asked for? I don't think so, but the moon is spinning now. Hey, which one of you cats can beg a quarter to get in here? Oh, baby, was that you? Well, now, let's not worry about little quarter. I'm gonna dance street on. Hey, that is my man you are talking to. Now, you leave them alone. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You hustlers. Well, this joint is jumping. It's really jumping. Now, every Moses on his toes. I mean, this joint is jumping. Well, no time for talking. It's time for walking. Grab a jug and cut the rug. I mean, this joint is jumping. Just get big beef, beer, and gin. There's plenty in the kitchen. Who's that just came in? Just look the way he's switching. Don't mind the hour, 'cause I devour. Well, I got bail if we go to jail. I mean, this joint is jumping. Don't you give that policeman your right name, honey. No. Yeah, there's a thump and the dance and a bump and the roof is a rockin', the neighbors are knocking. This joint is jumping. This joint is jumping. This jumping joint is going wild. It's going wild. Yes. One of the other fun things to do in Hawaii, of course, was snorkeling. How many of you have snorkeled before? Let's just hear you. Have you done snorkeling? Well, for the rest of you who hadn't, you haven't missed a blame thing. The equipment that you have to have is fairly simple, and they explain it to you. It's fairly simple. You use this mask. It's kind of an oval job, and it fits over the eyes and comes underneath your nose. And it's got kind of rubberized stuff, so the thing fits really, really tight up against your face. So none of the little water or sea creatures will get into your eyes, right? So you won't be ingesting any of that sort of stuff. That's right. And so it just kind of fits around here, and it's got a little string around here, so it tightens up snug next to your head. Now there's going to be a test after this, so I want you two over there to pay attention to this. So anyway, then there's this, what they call a J tube, okay? And in the J tube, there's a little rubber grommet thing that sits up in here into your mouth. So you've got the mask here, and you've got the rubber thing here. And it kind of goes up over your head, and there's a little ball inside of that. And even if you get underwater, this little ball floating in this tube will keep the nasty old seawater out of your lungs. That's what he told me. So, it's not a big deal. And then they give you funny shoes for your feet. They're kind of long, and they look like duck feet. And they're about 6 foot long. Okay, so you're all dressed, and you're wonderful. Me in my new bathing suit, my duck fins, and this thing over my face. And he puts this thing on, and he says, now, it has to fit really snug. So he shores this thing up in the back like this. Okay? So it's nice up and tight here, and the rubber's here, and then he shoves this thing in my mouth. Well, I don't know how many of you share the situation. I've had false teeth, you see, since I was 24 years old. Now, for those of you who share this wonderful phenomenon, you see, when you put the mask on, it pushes the upper plate down. You've all been there, haven't you? Okay? That's not a problem. I thought, I can handle this. Because when he put the tube in my mouth, it jammed those suckers right up through the roof of my mouth. So I've got this thing pushing down on him, this thing pushing up, and then we go to the water. Well, this is loads of fun, and he told me that I couldn't possibly drown in this situation. We were in Hanauma Bay, you know, in Hawaii, and nobody was going to let me drown. It would be fine. I believed him. So you kind of go in, and we got this little sack full of green peas, and we're letting the frozen peas out, and the fish are coming from everywhere. And he keeps saying, keep breathing, but you got to breathe slow. Well, when you're not experienced swimmer, it's yeah, that's as slow as you can breathe, because you're just sure you're going to drown. So, lo and behold, my little head kind of got a little beneath the water there for a while, and the little J tube got a little bit of water in it, and pretty soon, lo and behold, no matter how much I crunch, my teeth are floating to China. So I would highly recommend snorkeling to any of you that don't have false teeth. It was a really degrading experience. I can't even wait to tell you what happened parasailing, what I lost. And there's loads of fun in Hawaii. I had a good time. Well, I like for us to snort on into a ballad, okay? Man, just do something nice and tender and loving now. And it's always a nice transition for the girls to have to sing something wonderful after I've just obliterated it. I like to do that. This is called Keeping Out of Mischief, and you really need to pay attention to the words because it's kind of fun. And we're featuring our tenor, Shelly Sweet, singing Keeping Out of Mischief. Don't even go to a movie show if you are not at my side. I just stay home by my radio, but I'm sad. in Fort Myers. He's in the chorus giving us a wonderful show. Let's give him a hand. You know, Liz has kind of told you a little bit about the places that we've gotten to go and everything, but another wonderful thing about being in a Sweet Adeline quartet is that we have this society that kind of puts you up on this pedestal, and believe it or not, you get to become a legend in your own mind. So one of the really neat things that we've gotten to do is we did record an album, and it's such a special occasion for us to get to announce to you this very evening that this afternoon at this auditorium, we sold our 1 millionth album. Like to tell you that. Unfortunately, we've only sold 3. Liz didn't want one. Can't get her to buy it no matter what. But we'd like to take the opportunity after the show. We'll be in the lobby selling albums, shaking hands. We'd like to take the opportunity to know every one of you, introduce ourselves to you, shake your hand, and you don't even have to buy our album. We don't have to shake your hand either, but you know, there always has to be a commercial. Yeah, she's the one in the group that wears the green visor. We were on Sanibel Island and we saw this wonderful visor for her. It was kind of fuchsia color, you know, and it's kind of between puce and fuchsia. And it was fuchsia. And it had these wonderful, wonderful little mirrors on it, but the sucker was 28 bucks. So we didn't bring home much from Sanibel Island except lots of shells. You know, we've had a wonderful, wonderful time in Fort Myers. We got to go to Edison's home, and we got to see things, and we got to touch things. And we got to go in places you all don't get to go into. They opened the gates and the bars, and we got to go in. Of course, they tried to lock the bars, but we got out anyway, so it was a wonderful trip. We're coming back to Fort Myers first chance we get. We'd like to sing for you a number done by George Gershwin, and our arranger, David Wright, is Sandi Wright's husband. And David does all the stuff that you've heard tonight. He does the arrangements of them. And he has such a conscience about keeping what the composer had in mind. Almost everything that we do is very true to what was originally written on the original sheet music. And so this George Gershwin tune that David wanted us to sing is Rhapsody in Blue. Well, Rhapsody in Blue is an instrumental, as we were quick to explain to him, and he said, well, no problem. He said, I'll put some words to it. Well, the words that you will hear tonight in Rhapsody in New York, as David has titled it, when David came from Kentucky, he came as a grad student to Columbia. He was accepted to Columbia. He is now a professor. But when he came from Kentucky, from the tobacco farm, he came on a bus into the port of entry in New York City. If any of you have ever been there, have any idea what he must have fathomed and what he felt and what he saw? I know the first time I ever got off the bus at the port of entry, nobody spoke English. I was sure I was in Spain or Mexico. Nobody spoke any English, and I was terrified. And so when we go through this bittersweet and the wonderful excitement of New York, David is captured in the words, and we would like to sing for you, Rhapsody in New York.
bumbling and bumping and dashing to and fro. Ambling, rambling, scrambling, I just want to know. What is the person to make of this confusing parade? Why are they marching like ants in a relentless brigade? Stepping and stopping and starting as if they must obey some voice above directing their flow. Somehow the step amuses me so. Ruckus rocks me, my blasting my brain. Bum, over the bum, there comes the bum, bum, everyone moves along with the rhythm that Blair. Harlem blues on, turns on with the comic of Blair. And don't forget the blue, rich folks are strutting with their noses in the air. Dancing, dancing, and sad to the beat of Times Square. They run. Don't forget the can't we please slow this down? The pounding rhythm of the sidewalks and the subways and the avenues and side streets in the heart of New York. The bustling, unabated, pulsing and convulsing and this ocean of commotion is a part of New York. And it's a part of the rhapsody, grand and music, rising out over this land of music. Shining down through the sound of an orchestra, and every New Yorker plays a part. Painted and chained, 42nd Street lady dancers, sexy sway. Open by all these Harlem chapel and saddle pod rails to pray. Once in the bell ring, left and even and they don't hear the song they play. Dun, 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 dun. Under the avenue, the packed masses rumble along. Hammering, clamoring through a dark corridor, the train passes thundering on. And roaring past the station wall, city with graffiti, the deafening noise gets worse. I'm staring at plain faces of all races, and I discover somebody stole my purse.
Boy, honey, I hope you had American Express. You should never leave home without it.
Empty grand bells and now the train clatters. Opens the doors and all the crowd scatters like a brigade of marching ants surging out of the ground. Onto the busy corners, mad merging merry-go-round. I get away into a tall building, into an elevator now filling. Skyward we go up to the top story. As the old and heaven's grand glory, I hear the sound. convulsing in this ocean of commotion is a part of New York, and it's a part of that rhapsody, grand music, rising up.